seriously. Like, black people, we have to do better as business owners. We have to put the effort. We have to look for manufacturer. We have to want to be the Nikes and the Adidas. Like, we have to put that effort. You can't expect people to pay Gucci prices at Foreman Mills work. Like,
hey y'all, it's too early. Season 2, episode 7. We are back. Naya,
Mommy,
Bree,
and Nelly, and we are doing our series, Our Black Stories. This episode is about the Black Dollar.
Ooh. So last episode we discussed some celebrities that are canceled, but we also mentioned some brands and companies that are being canceled. And just to refresh, like from the Real Talk Friday, some of those were Pretty Little Things, Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, Fashion Nova, and the list goes on. So let's start there. What have y'all seen? What are y'all canceling? Where are you not shopping, spending? What's the tea?
I think for me it's Starbucks, but I've never really been a big fan of Starbucks, but I'm definitely not canceling Starbucks for sure, because I don't know what they doing, what they thought that was good about saying something like that nobody can wear Black Lives Matter, anything like that. But when it comes to anything as far as the LGBTQ community or as far as anything else, they're quick to say, oh yeah, we support it, but all of a sudden race is such a controversial thing when it comes to Starbucks. Chick-fil-A, I'm having a little issue with. I know we're supposed to cancel Chick-fil-A, but I just had Chick-fil-A last week. It's a little struggle. It's hard, but some people out here saying, "Oh, we canceling Chick-fil-A," but they in the drive-through line getting a chicken sandwich. That's me. But not that.
But no, I mean, I get it. Like, some things are hard to cancel, especially because they've just become a part of our daily routine, and it really takes willpower and strength. And I don't want to compare it to like drugs, but no, seriously, no, like seriously, when you're so used to having it, like you go through withdrawals. Like, y'all can't tell me that sometimes y'all don't crave a Chick-fil-A sandwich or some chicken.
I crave a Chick-fil-A sandwich on Sundays.
Honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest. After college, I stopped craving Chick-fil-A. Like, if I go, it's just because like there's nothing else. I go for a milkshake, but after college, I was just like, ugh.
Well, see, so I'm 3 weeks strong on Chick-fil-A canceled. However, Starbucks, I still had a free drink. And I had $6 left in my account, and you can't get that money back. Like, well, I'm just wasting my reward. So I will say I'm trying, I'm making an effort, but Starbucks is a hard one for me. Like, I have spent hundreds, probably thousands of dollars with Starbucks, and no, seriously, when I was at GW, I used to get Starbucks every morning, like to the point where they just had my order ready. Like, I didn't even order it. When I came in, I scanned my thing. It was literally 5 days a week I would get Starbucks. And then when I got to Towson, it slowed down a little bit because my days used to be like 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. because I was commuting too. So,
and the Starbucks wasn't in the convenience space.
Right.
Yeah,
so now like once I got to Towson, it slowed down a little bit. But when I think of that pick-me-up, Starbucks is the first place that I think of. So it is taking... And I don't want to call it a habit because it's not really a habit, but like sometimes I do crave Starbucks. And that's just me being real, but it's something that I am working towards not having Starbucks.
I mean, well, yeah. I think with the whole Chick-fil-A thing too, there's been issues with Chick-fil-A before all of this happened anyway. Like, everybody knew that Chick-fil-A was supporting certain things, so... I mean, I understand the whole canceling of Chick-fil-A, but it's kind of like, why cancel them now? Why didn't you cancel them 2 years ago when all of that stuff got exposed about who they were supporting, who they were funding?
but even that, I feel like with Starbucks, for me, I really don't drink Starbucks like that, so that was an easy cutoff. But Chick-fil-A, like, I eat from time to time. I'm kind of like questioning, just because that was something that already happened, that we already knew about, and it's like, do I have to like say I'm never gonna eat it again, or do I just modify how I eat it? If I crave it, I might go get it, but in terms, I should try to figure out where else my dollar should go. Like, does canceling Chick-fil-A or whatever thing, depending on what the reason is, mean that I will never have it again, or I'm going to modify it? Like, where do y'all stand on that?
I think that, like, if every black person stopped eating at Chick-fil-A, they would be bankrupt. Like, literally, businesses thrive off of the black dollar. So it's like, I can see it. But we don't stand in solidarity together. So it's like, unless everyone stops, even you got that one person that's still going to Chick-fil-A every morning before work, then it doesn't help. Like, the movement doesn't get pushed forward because there's still people supporting it. It can't just be half people. Like, and I feel like it's people think about it like that. Well, what's my little $7 going to do when there's still 50,000 black people supporting this business? So it's like,
I think, what is our end goal? Like, is our goal to just stop Chick-fil-A existing? Because they could easily make something else. And, like, still, I feel like us, because of that reason, whoever they support, right? Us saying we're just not going to eat there, they'll go bankrupt. Like, they're still going to support who they support regardless. So I feel like we also have to think, like, what is our end goal? Like, if we want to have there be no more Chick-fil-A ever, I think that everybody should cold turkey just stop. Like, stand in solidarity. Let's not eat there. But if the goal is just to show them, like, the power is, like, within us, and if you want to act crazy, we going, act even crazier. We'll do this. Or, like, I feel like we just have to figure out, like, what is our goal in doing it. You can't just say, oh, I'm canceling this. Like, with what intention, what end goal do you want?
But I think it has to be, they have to go, because clearly they've showed their colors. They show what they support. So it's like, even if their numbers get low enough to where they're like, oh, we got to win back the black people, it's still not genuine. So, like, the only option is to stop supporting these businesses that profit off the black dollar but don't support the black people. Like, I think that's the bigger picture here, because even, and I literally just start thinking about it now, like, if you had to choose between Home Depot or Lowe's, which one are you going to? Like, what's the automatic hardware store or something like that that you
Home Depot.
Home Depot, right. But Lowe's is black owned.
I did not know that.
Right, and I didn't know until recently, but Home Depot is also funding Trump's re-election. So it's like, just being more conscious, like, that's something that I've been trying to do, like, be more conscious of where I'm spending my money. And I think that's the baby steps. Like, no, it's kind of almost impossible to literally stop supporting every single businesses, because some of these businesses that are supporting Trump, our livelihood depend on it. And I mean that in the sense that you're talking about, are we looking at electrical companies and like, all those different things. The reality is, a lot of those businesses are not black owned.
It's multiple layers to everything. Like, you can't just say, oh, well, this is, like Nia was saying, you can't just say this is canceled. Like, you have to, it's layers to everything. Like, you have to do your research. You have to know, like, what companies are supporting what companies aren't supporting what. So, I don't know. I mean,
I feel like I understand we want to support black businesses, but I also feel like it's a business at the end of the day, and not saying that it's right for them to, like, Starbucks of course is wrong, but for companies that are supporting Trump, it's also like, that may just been something on the back end that is not even, like, I don't know for sure, but not even directly supporting Trump, but, like, they may be funding something, who funded something, who is supporting Trump, that kind of thing. And you don't know, like, ratio 10-1, they could be doing more stuff for the black community, and then they do this one thing and boom, they cancel. Like, I feel like it's, you don't know what it's like to run a $1 billion corporation and where all of their money goes and what they gotta fund, what they don't gotta fund, who funds them, that type of thing. So I'm not saying that I'm canceling anybody, honestly, because I truly just don't think, like, when I mean, it might not be okay, but I truly, when I go, I don't think about it. Starbucks, I don't go too often. If I do go, like, maybe now I'll think twice about it, but Chick-fil-A, like, I go out of habit sometimes, but not as often as I used to. And when I go, I'm just not thinking about it, and that may be bad on my part or whatever. And of course, like, I'll still support black businesses, but I can't say that I'm just going to completely cancel Chick-fil-A, because there's other stuff that they've done previously that I'm like, oh yeah, like, I support that. You know, like, who are you going to find with better customer service? Like, that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I just feel like it's hard for me to say I'm canceling this business off of one thing that the media put out that I don't know is completely true. Like, let me see some receipts. Let me see, you know, from the organization what they're doing. But Chick-fil-A and Starbucks, I feel like it's two different situations because you not letting somebody wear their Black Lives Matter stuff. That's just shady.
I think that's a good point about like really knowing exactly what it is, because it's not always black and white,
right,
and things kind of lead into other things. So I think that's really a good point. And then also, just to kind of piggyback off of that, I feel like when you are supporting something, you need to know the reason why, but you also, like, having different options is good. Like the Ariana Grande thing that we spoke about last time. Now that we know that there is another black-owned coffee shop, you may not like that black-owned coffee shop. Like, yes, we want to support black businesses, but that doesn't always mean that that's the business that you want. So does that mean, okay, well, let me stop doing this just because, you know, they support this candidate and not the one that I like, so I'm going to go here, but it's not really what I want. Like, I feel like we also just have to kind of learn and open our eyes to like different businesses that are out there and stop going to like the main ones that we already know don't fully support what we are going for. But we also can't just be like, I hate you because you support this one person, when there's so much more layered to businesses and what they do and what they support and different organizations that they are like conjoined into. So I feel like
be very
knowing,
realistic.
Yeah.
Black businesses are not everywhere. It's sad to say, but they're not. So you telling me if it's a black coffee shop 45 minutes away, I mean a black, like whatever Chick-fil-A's equivalent would be 45 minutes away, but then there's also Chick-fil-A, you telling me you're going to drive all that 45 minutes? Like, I doubt it.
I don't think that it's the reality is, oh, we're only supporting black businesses. I think it's more so about support businesses who support you, because there are companies that are not black owned that have stood up for the Black Lives Matter movement. I think Target has been one of the companies that I've seen like constantly make strides for, and even Amazon. I mean, you have Jeff Bezos responding to emails when you know that's not, he doesn't have to do that. He has thousands of people working under him. So the fact that he's taking his time to respond to customers personally about how they feel about how he's handling the Black Lives Matter issue, I feel like that means something. That's why I'm saying I don't feel like it's, oh, you can only eat at black businesses. It's about, why are we supporting a business that is known to be not homosexual, homophobic, or even slightly racist, or whatever the facts are. It's like, it's more about the values of the company, not the owner. Like, yes, we should be supporting black businesses, but also supporting the businesses that are for us, or like that are standing up for us. Why are we putting money into the pockets of people who literally borderline hate us? And I personally feel like, yes, if you support Trump, you are homophobic, you are racist, you are sexist. Like that, I just don't see how you can support him and say that you're not one of these things, because he constantly speaks on, he constantly shows his true colors. We spoke about it in the last episode. This man doesn't backtrack off of anything he says. So yes, if you support him, I don't care if you're rich and you only support him because the tax break. If you can't look at that and see an issue in that, then that's a problem for me. So yes, I do think that if companies are in any way supporting a candidate, and it's not because I don't agree with it, it's because this man has literally shown his true colors. Like, there's a difference between having two different viewpoints and being Democratic or Republican. But this man is a racist. This man that's in the White House is a racist. He's homophobic, he's sexist, like, and he's a rapist. Honestly, I mean, there's facts out there. Like, there's women that have come forward that have said these things. So it's like, yeah, I can't get over the supporting of Trump. Now, I will say I agree with you, Nelly, that we need some receipts, because in one of the posts that I saw, Waffle House was one of the people included, but then Waffle House put out a statement that in no way have they supported or do they intend to support Trump. So it's like, yes, there is muddy water, and you have to decide until people pull out receipts. I get that part, but if you are openly supporting Trump, then no, I cannot support you.
And also, I think that a lot of people are saying, oh, we need to support black business, but at the same time, you also have to be careful what black business you support, because not all black businesses you should support. Some black businesses are not for us. Like, they just profit off of our dollar. And I mean, I hate to say it, but some businesses within our community are not for us, and they either don't have great customer service, or their brand doesn't match what their values and their morals are and how they promote themselves. So it's kind of like a thin line that we're kind of crossing here, where whether you support a black business and still continue to support all those other big businesses and corporations, or what. Like, sometimes it's a little confusing.
And we also have to realize that, like, not even to say that I like Trump or anything, like, no, he need to go, whatever, but we also have to pay attention to history and people's actions and stuff like that. And I'm gonna, like, give a simple example that you could take, leave, whatever. I may have a boss that's a racist, that I hate, that is discriminatory, homophobic, all of that stuff, but gives me a raise every year by $10. I don't agree with him. I don't whatever. I don't agree with him. I don't anything. I don't support him, but he's actually doing something that benefits me. Now, I'm not saying that Trump has or has not done anything that has benefited the community. I'm not saying Biden has done anything that has or has not benefited the community, but you have to do your research instead of just seeing what you see to be like, I don't like you as a person. That's great, but what else are you doing? You understand what I'm saying?
But I think you have to look at the bigger picture, though. Because,
I think
yes,
the bigger picture.
I don't think so, because if you get $10, that's amazing for you. But who else is getting hurt along the way? And that's why I think it's about sacrifice, and it's about what are you willing to sacrifice for the bigger community. Because yes, while like, and that goes back to the example of people.
Things, though.
I think that goes back to the example of if you're rich and Trump, who has been rich, and the whole tax break situation. Yes, if you get a tax break, you're a black business owner, a Fortune 500 company, Trump's taxes, the way he taxes might be beneficial for you, but he's not beneficial for your community. So you supporting him doesn't make sense.
But I'm saying you still have to, like, go back and understand and, like, do your research on what has been done, whether that person's a racist or not. And it doesn't even have to be about Trump, because I still need to do a lot of research on what's what and who has done what and stuff like that in the past. But we could go back and say, well, Biden passed laws that has a whole bunch of black people in jail right now. Like there are certain things like that where I'm saying, yes, you should focus on the person, and yes, what you are saying is absolutely correct. I just think that's separate from looking at the person for who they are and then also looking at what they do. They may speak out the dumbest stuff, the craziest stuff, the most hurtful stuff, but you also have to look at what are you actually doing, though. Like, talk is cheap, talk is hurtful, but talk is cheap. Like, what actions are happening? And that doesn't even have to fall into the Trump thing, because that's deep, that's different. I need to do research, a lot of people need to do research, but I also feel like sometimes people are ignorant to the fact of what actions are being taken, whether it's this company saying, oh, you know, we're gonna put this Black Lives Matter thing up, but like their whole roster is full of white people, one black person and an Asian person. Like, we have to look at the actions that are actually being taken instead of just the talk.
I
That's
agree with
what I'm
that, because
saying.
it definitely could be black businesses out here, like Lonnie said, that you shouldn't support because they saying one thing and doing another.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I mean, we can take it to right here at home, Park. We can talk about Park, who is a black-owned business and was not really for the people when it came down to supporting their employees during this time, to making sure protesters was okay. All of their actions were followed by the backlash. So it's like, I see what you're saying. I see what Lonnie is saying, but I still can't wrap my head around, and we might just have to agree to disagree, but if your values and your actions don't align, that doesn't work for me. So no matter how you say if they're a racist but they're doing good actions, that doesn't work for me. That's just my personal opinion, and I'm going to stand on that, because I just feel like that's something that aligns, because it could be the complete opposite. If I sit here and I tell Nelly I love her and she's my sister for life, but I never show up for her, it doesn't matter what I say, because what I'm doing, like, they don't align.
Yeah.
Right, but if you were to be like, never say, Nelly, I love you, I'm here for you, you're my sister, but you show up all the time, does that make a difference?
It does, but I will also say, but I'm not saying anything. But if you're saying something that's totally contradictory to what you're doing, then that doesn't work.
And it doesn't match, but I'm just saying it's still a process of doing it. Like, whether you're like, dang, I don't like Nelly, blah, 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 but like you still showing up to like whatever
But
the
that's
motive
fake.
is.
Like,
It is, but I'm not even saying on whether it's fake or not. I'm just saying the action of doing, and if it's benefiting, you have to also pay attention to certain stuff like that. And it don't even got to be a Trump. Just like any type of company, you have to pay attention to the actions that they're doing, because people can say anything based off of backlash, based off of what they fear, based off of whatever it is. But you have to look at people's actions, not even to say more, but at least at the same level that you view people and what they're saying, what are they actually doing? The same thing if it's positive. If somebody's saying I support Black lives, all of this other stuff, what are you doing to meet that? And if they don't match, I do understand what you're saying, that doesn't make sense, but we also have to understand that sometimes people talk all of this and it doesn't match their actions.
I think a good example of that is Sean King. I've seen a lot of stuff where, y'all know, he's supposed to be this big activist, but I've seen stuff, and I don't know if it's true or not because I haven't done the research, but I've seen stuff where they're like, oh yeah, he talks a big game, but really he's stealing people money in the background. So it's like, it's really like you really gotta use discernment and ask for discernment. Yeah. And just kind of, like you said, it's about actions, but it's also like you can't be fooled by what people look like on the outside.
Right. Because
Just do your research, y'all. Do your research.
I think it also depends on the industry too, because I've been following, like, I'm a big like makeup fanatic. So like I've been following a lot of makeup brands who have been supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, and I was actually on YouTube the other day watching a video from Alyssa Ashley, and she was just explaining and talking about like how different Black makeup influencers and YouTube influencers have been on the line of whether they're supporting just strictly Black owned makeup brands or if they're supporting Black owned and the regular makeup brands that they work with, because in reality, if you're a YouTuber, you make your money off of sponsorships and getting PR boxes and PR makeup to promote their stuff. So she was basically explaining like, yes, it's good to support these Black owned makeup brands, but realistically most of these Black owned makeup brands don't have the funds and the money and the dollars to support the YouTube influencers, because that's how they make their money. So versus if you are sponsored or if you have a sponsorship with Anastasia Beverly Hills or Too Faced or Marc Jacobs, like that's where you get your money. You can make $3,200 off of one sponsorship YouTube video. But if you work with like another, Black owned makeup brand, I'm not sure how much, they, make or whatever. But for example, Oma Beauty, they may not give you as much to support your lifestyle and to support what you have going on as that person. So it's, I don't know. It's kind of like I don't know how to feel about it.
I think it goes back also to like where the Black dollar goes, but also like you don't necessarily have to cut all of that out, but imagine when you have all of these other options that actually do benefit you and your community. Like imagine if you just decided, oh, I'm gonna go here instead, and then you found out about this, then you found out about this. Now you have a list of things that equivalent to this that might not necessarily align with what you believe. Now you have all of this that starts to circulate in the community and build them up to build more awareness. And then I feel like that kind of needs to be where our focus is, just like as a community, like finding out who's doing what, where can I put my money, instead of just going to where we have been going, because that obviously has not been working for us.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's about expanding your options and seeing where else you can support. But I think it's a slow process. Like, I think people expect it to happen overnight, where it's like, tomorrow we're going to wake up and Fashion Nova and Pretty Little Things are going to be out of business. But that's not a reality.
Nope.
And that has things to do with their pricing, their how quick they are in response, their promotions that they do, their ability to partner with these top celebrities and pay them $1 million per post. Like, it's business at the end of the day. It's business. And some of these celebrities, and I kind of had to look at it because I love Tiana Taylor, and her release party was sponsored by Pretty Little Things. And I was like, how do I feel about that? Because for me, Pretty Little Things, what they did wrong was their post about when all it happens. They literally posted a black, like a blackety black hand and a pink hand, and it says something along the lines of, we're in this together. Like, it was very cut dry. It was like, we have to say something, so hurry up and put something out. They didn't put care into it, and it was more so, it felt ingenuine. It felt like they just put something out because they knew most of their customers are Black, so they're like, if we don't say something, then it's going to be taken the wrong way. Whereas Fashion Nova, on the other hand, I didn't really even see them post anything, but they sent out an email to their email list about how they're giving money out. So it's like, okay, finding some restraint in them. So instead of, I'm gonna try to buy something from a black boutique versus Fashion Nova, but then at the end of the day, you have to look at the finances of it. I could get 17 items from Fashion Nova and Pretty Little Things for $150, where I might have to only get 1 or 2 items from a black boutique. So it's hard to understand. I mean, it's hard to like just make those rash decisions where it's like, I'm never shopping here again. But it's more so of a process and finding those options. And I think the black community on social media has done a good job at sharing these black businesses. I mean, even from the like posts that people curate themselves, or Beyonce's list that was curated for her website. So like, we're putting forth the effort, and I can see it. But we have to be more mindful of where our black dollar goes, because all of these companies target black people, because that's how powerful our black dollar is. When you go on Fashion Nova, every model on there is either black, mixed, or has a closer to brown skin tone, has the big butt, the big boobs. All that originates from black culture. Even from them like stealing black ideas. Like, they market towards us because they know how powerful our black dollar is.
They know we're going to spend the money.
So it's like, imagine if we could give that power to a company that is actually cherishing us, or even a black-owned company best, but even a company that just cherishes the black people, the black bodies, the black creatives. Like, half of the designs on Fashion Nova's websites are literally stolen from young black creators that they just remake.
So I have a question. What do y'all think would be the fix for that? Like, we know that that's what's trending. Like, we trend. That's just what it is. So we know companies are going to use it. What would y'all suggest that they do instead of just taking it? Like, what do y'all want them to put out a statement, give credit? Like, what's the process?
Money? Like, most of those people don't get paid. Like, how are you not paying black creatives for their ideas, you know? Like, I think that's a big part of it. And if they did pay people for their ideas, I think people would be more on board with it. Like,
or even like, even from away from stealing designs, like, without you having to steal those designs and those creations, why don't you just add more people of color, more black people to your team, just so you have an idea of what that community would like, what that community likes, what they would want to buy, what they wouldn't want to buy, things like that. I think a lot of the times when you look at these big corporations and these big companies and businesses, their team isn't diverse enough. Their team reflects white people, but then they profit off of black dollars because they're stealing from black creators instead of hiring those black creators to work on their team behind the scenes, so they wouldn't have to go through that whole process.
I think it even goes further than that. Obviously, it's not going to be overnight, but supporting your local businesses and actually like genuinely supporting people so that they can make it up, and encouraging the younger generations to create on their own, and also supporting them, because we could start supporting a whole bunch of black businesses, but in reality, there's still not that many right now, or at least not that many that are successful. So once we start implementing more, and there's more support, and there's more circulation of the black dollar going into the communities, and we have more black businesses, I feel like that will really start to like, actually, it'll be a catalyst to change. Right now, it's just kind of like, we're all aware, everything's up here, but like, we haven't really put much into action, or you're not able to see it as much because it's going to take time.
I mean, I think in general, it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight, but we have to start thinking about how we're spending our black dollar. Like, literally sit down one day and literally say, today I'm only going to shop black owned. And I tried to do that on Juneteenth, and it's really hard.
It is.
Like, even from like gas stations and things like that, like how much frivolous money you just spend. So just like try to sit down and be mindful of those things, and just like take a second thought before saying, oh, I'm just gonna go eat at Fridays or Olive Garden.
And to piggyback off of that, a good show that I started watching on Netflix by Killer Mike, I think it's called Trigger Warning.
Oh yeah, no,
his first episode was about the black dollar, and he literally spent a whole 48 hours, I think, just trying to spend the black dollar, and it was so
Yeah.
hard because
He was walking.
he
No
had to buy
cars
a
made
bike
by
from
black
a
people.
black owned bike shop. Like, it's so hard because we don't see much of ourselves in the community at all. So
And just be willing to sacrifice as well. Like, so what if it's a little bit more expensive? You may not be able to get a whole bunch of items. You get 2, but it's nice quality, or it's at least a step in the right direction to, generate.
I have a
It's
rebuttal.
hard, but
no, I have a rebuttal to that
sacrifice.
only because, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but this is my truth and this is how I feel. But a lot of these boutiques sell the same exact thing that I could find on Fashion Nova, and it's not better quality. Like, it's not handmade. It's not.
That's very true.
It's not good
No,
quality,
that is
and you're
true.
expecting me to pay $70 for a shirt that says Gildan that you pressed on your logo. No, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Like, black people, we have to do better as business owners. We have to put the effort. We have to look
That's
for
a
manufacturer. We have to want to be the Nikes and the Adidas. Like, we have to put that effort. You can't expect people to pay Gucci prices at Foreman Mills work.
I
Like,
also think that ties back into what Naya was saying about feeding back into the youth, and not even just the youth, just like black community in general, because a lot of them don't know about manufacturers and to look for that kind of stuff and that kind of thing. So I think it's like a full circle thing where they're not taught how to be a Nike, so they don't know how to be a Nike. And that's one thing that these white businesses can do, is kind of just feed back into the black community and host webinars and sessions and information sessions, just like how you started, and really just feed that back. Because otherwise we're just going to keep ending up with bogus brands.
because it speaks for itself. Like, Hanifa, I would absolutely spend $250
Yeah.
on a dress from her.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're quality. Like,
Honey, that virtual
listen,
brand.
I mean, that is, when black people put their everything into something, the results
It
are
shows,
amazing.
it
So
shows.
please just stop trying to put out these half-ass done businesses and put the time and effort into it. Stop trying to make the quick dollar. Be in it for the long run. Be in it
Stop
for your
rushing.
community. Be
Which
in
is
it.
still a sacrifice.
Yeah, it is. All of the
Full
pushing
circle.
the movement forward and about the black dollar is all about sacrifice and being in it for the long run. It's not going to change overnight, just like police aren't going to stop killing us tomorrow. No matter how hard we protest, no matter if we protest for the rest of the year, it's still not going to stop. It's about making the small strides towards a bigger
And
and better
recognizing
picture.
them, because we can make them, but if we're not recognizing them, then it's pointless.
right.
But yes, y'all, we could go on and on, but that is why we are bringing y'all new episodes every week for the next 7 weeks, and we just hope y'all are in there with us because we have so much to talk about. And with that, that brings the Black Dollar episode to a closing. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.
Our black stories.
Yes.